Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat, and today I'm doing a video recommending some wonderfully weird books to you that are under 200 pages and are also less well known. So when I was compiling this list, I basically didn't want to just tell you guys the same stuff that everyone is telling everyone all the time. So I pulled some pretty unique gems off my shelves and also from my Goodreads history. And without further ado, we're gonna get into it. This video is least well-known books to most well-known, but I'd be shocked if you knew many of these. At least I hope I'm bringing some new things to your attention. So if I do that, if you haven't heard of these, then please like, subscribe, and also let me know which ones are new and that you want to read down below. So without further ado, we're gonna kick it off with the first one, which is a French translation. This is Our Life in the Forest. And from the cover, I'm pretty sure you can tell what the theme is. And if you guessed dismemberment and disintegration of body, you would be correct. So this is a near future where a woman is writing kind of epistolary format and keeping track of what's happening as her body starts to fall apart. So it says, thank you so much to that car outside. Thank you so much. It says she's lost the use of one eye, she's down to one kidney and one lung. So in the past, she used to be like someone who treated trauma, but now she is fleeing from the center with Mary, who is her half, who is basically a clone of her that was being used to harvest organs. And so they're fleeing into the forest. You're not sure what happened. You're not sure like what's going on in the world or why everyone is fleeing into the woods with their disintegrating halves. Yeah, so this novel was really interesting to read. It's a very unique premise. Yeah. All right. And next I want to talk about one of my favorite books either of last year or the year before. This is The Membranes by Chi Tai Wei, translated by Ari Larissa Henrik. This is from Taiwan, and so it's a Chinese translation. This is following Momo, which is why there's a peach on the cover. Momo is Japanese for peach. And I thought that this was excellent, and it seems to be getting some traction this year, so I'm really glad about that. When I read it a few years ago, I was just blown away by the complexity, and it was hitting all the correct boxes. So we're in a future post-apocalyptic world. There's been nuclear fallout, no one can live on land, and so everyone has moved to subterranean, like dome cities in the ocean, on the seabed. And that is where our main character is, and she is someone who fixes the skin of people who are famous and celebrities and can pay for it, where the memories of their skin are downloaded, and they get to experience like different things through different skins. It is so bizarre and so cool. And then you also get some mother-daughter conflict because Momo is kind of in this push and pull relationship with her famous mother. And so you're getting a lot of different angles and aspects of Momo's life as things go on, and she starts to unravel some mysteries of her past. I don't want to say more, but this was one of my best of the last few years. So really, I highly recommend it. And don't you dare spoil any of the twists for anyone if you read it, because this has some of the best twistiness that I have read in recent years. So next, in a complete departure, well, I guess not, they're both sci-fi. This is Earth Fathers Are Weird by Lynn Gala. This is an MM romance, which is just so wonderfully weird. It took me by complete surprise because you're following a pilot in the Air Force who, when aliens burst through like into the stratosphere, he's sent up to fight them. Instead, he's captured. Turns out it wasn't about Earth at all. It was two alien species fighting each other, and he just got like caught up in the mix of it. So he is like trapped at a space station and he needs to buy his way home. So he has to make money somehow. So he takes a job being a nanny for this cephalopodic alien. So cephalopodic, kind of like octopus, squid. There's tentacles and language involved where it's like, I don't know, like blowing bubbles, blowing wind sounds. So he has like an ear translator and he's going to be a nanny for this alien, only things don't go as he planned. And the alien actually meant something else in the negotiations, but in order to get home, he has to fulfill the contract that he signed. So if that intrigues you at all, definitely give it a go. It's weird because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but this book totally made me cry. It's like, yeah, got me. It got me good. All right, next up is A Taste of Honey by Kai Ashante Wilson. And this, I love this cover so much. It's one of those soft velvet mats. I don't know what you call it. It's almost like velour. And the cover is just so beautiful. Oh, this is so beautiful. So I know that this is second in a series, but you don't have to read them back to back. I didn't read the first one and this one was completely fine. So it says, Aqib Siddiqui, fourth cousin to the royal family and son of the master of beasts, has more mortal and pressing concerns than the gods. His heart has been captured for the first time by a handsome soldier named Lucrio. In defiance of saintly canon, gossiping servants, and the furious disapproval of his father and brother, he finds himself swept up in a whirlwind romance, but neither Aqib nor Lucrio know whether their love can survive all the hardships the world has thrown at them. So this is just a very, very unique... It does have romance, but I would say like a lot of it is fantastical world building, and it just seems like you're part of like a much bigger narrative, and you're just getting this little alcove of a moment with these two characters. So the Master of Beast thing is really, really cool because he cares for all like the royal menagerie beasts in here. There's also gods and goddesses, and there's also like royal court intrigue, class discussion, race discussion. So if that sounds interesting to you, I recommend this. It's super, super short. Yeah, so that's that one. Next, we have another one of my favorites in the last few years. This is The Past is Red by Catherine M. Valente. So Catherine M. Valente has been on BookTube obviously for a while, but her Comfort Me with Apples has been floating around as people's favorites of last year that I watched. Like, I binged a bunch of those videos. However, I would argue that I did like Comfort Me with Apples a lot. That was 4 stars for me, but The Past is Red was 4.5 for me. The Past is Red is my favorite of hers so far. It is so weird and heartfelt and also just so imaginative. So in The Past is Red, we are following Tetley, and she lives on basically this massive floating garbage patch in the ocean, and it's known as Garbage Town. So Garbage Town is split up into different precincts depending on what garbage is there. So there's like a cosmetics place, there's a place that's all electronics, there's a place that's batteries. So I believe Tetley lives in the place where there are candles, and her like abode is made from all this melted wax. And it says she is the most loved girl in Garbage Town, but she's also the most hated girl in Garbage Town. And you come to find out that for some reason you're not made aware of, everyone on the island has like license to kill her and beat her freely, and you're not sure why. So you keep going back and forth between the present and the past, and it is just so heartbreaking and also gives you a lot to think about. And Tetley as a character is just so, so heartbreaking because it's one of the characters where she doesn't often complain about her situation. So she not makes light of, but she just kind of like rolls with the punches. And as she's being like, as bad things happen to her over and over, you as the reader are just so invested in her and like want to protect her. And you're just like, oh my God, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Yeah, and there is a lot to think about in this one. I recommend this for anyone that likes dystopian or Waterworld dystopias, also climate fiction. Yeah, I really, really love this. And if you like Valente's writing style, absolutely give this a go. Like 100% give this a go. All right, next, we're gonna definitely take a complete departure from that. This is Down the Rabbit Hole by Juan Pablo Villalobos. And I believe, yeah, he was born in Mexico, and he currently lives in Spain. So this is a Spanish translation. So we are following a little boy named Tochli who lives in a palace. He loves hats, samurai, guillotines, dictionaries, and the thing he wants the most is a pet hippopotamus. So his father, who is a major drug baron of a cartel, is having a lot happening in his, obviously, like, drug dealings, weapons dealings, but he is dead set on getting this hippo for his son. So this is following the son. It is super short. I mean, it's like 75 pages, and you are witnessing the horrors of drug cartel life in Mexico through the eyes of a very young child who wants nothing more than a pet hippopotamus. So as you'll see on the cover, he's obsessed with funny hats, samurai, samurais, and hippos. And it's just such a unique lens to look at cartels and dark things happening. And yeah, it's just a very, very odd premise. And I'm really glad that I picked it up out of nowhere like a few years ago. So yeah, if that sounds interesting, go for it. All right, the penultimate one is Mrs. Caliban by Rachel Ingalls. This is a more recent read. I think the most recent one, yeah, on this list that I'm probably talking about, I read it last year. So this is following a kind of really bored housewife, and she is preparing lunch when she hears over the radio that a, like, lizard man from a marine biology center has escaped from the nearby research station. And she looks up and he just happens to be at the screen door. He walks in and asks her to help hide him. She's bored out of her mind, so she decides, why not? So she hides him in the study and basically hides him from her husband, who basically treats her poorly and he's not interested in her. And he basically just treats her like a live-in robot for the house. So the housewife is dealing with this secret that she's keeping from the government, but also from her husband, and it's also giving her an outlet for her desire, her creativity, and also like a purpose to her life again. And it's their story about her helping him and him, the lizard man, trying to get back to his family. So it is ambiguous, and it's kind of one of those books that when you read it, you're like, huh, okay. But it has really stuck with me over time. I find myself coming back to think about it over and over again. So if that sounds interesting to you, or if you liked the movie Shape of Water, then I think that this would be a great one to pick up. All right, and the last one on this list is probably, I want to say, one of the darkest ones. Maybe. There's a few dark ones on here. But this one is definitely the most, like, effed up psychological one, I would say. This is In Praise of the Stepmother by Mario Vargas Llosa. And this is a messed up book. But it's very, very interesting. So we're following a family, and there has recently been a stepmother that has been added into the family. And the little boy of the family is definitely interested in the stepmother, but not in a good way. So this book is interweaving the text and also famous paintings from history. And the author is using the paintings as a vehicle to talk about different aspects of the little boy and the stepmother's ongoing relationship. And this book is it gets more and more messed up as time goes on, and it leads to this end product, which I knew it was going to go one of two ways, and it went a way that I didn't expect. So if you're looking for something that's completely unique, like I've never ever seen this before, where the text is interspersed with paintings, which this isn't an art history book. This is like a snapshot of a really fucked up family with messed up dynamics. then I would recommend this to you. However, like, look up triggers on Goodreads if you have them, because this is definitely messed up. This is messed up. But it is very, very weird in content, in style, in form, and also in the execution of plot. So it's weird in every possible way. So those are the 8 wonderfully weird books under 200 pages. I hope that I brought some new things to your attention. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about things that maybe I haven't spoken about in a while, and that are still on my mind over the years. So let me know if you have any recommendations. I would love to hear them down below, and I will see you in another video soon. Lots of love. Bye!